Hello and welcome to the Rioho Wellness Podcast. This is Margit Jepperson and I am here with Andrei Gospodarczyk, the founder of Rioho. The vision behind Rioho Wellness is to create a tipping point in wellness worldwide. And this podcast will contribute towards that. In each episode, we explore different health issues that present as case studies in Andrei's practice. They range from small, easily managed ailments to serious and complex illnesses. We explore body parts and how they respond to nutrition and environment, and we work on inspiring people to change their life for good through an everyday wellness focus. Rioho is a wellness modality that is unique because it focuses on healing and wellness through basic food and exercises that maneuver the body back to a state of balanced health. People literally jump out of their skin with energy and vitality when they follow Rioho. And it's an incredible turnaround for many who have had low energy for years through to people who have had complex health issues that don't seem to budge. The podcast is an interview format and ranges from 20 to 60 minutes. And if you'd like more of an introduction on Andrei, please see the 3-minute introduction in the first podcast on the homepage. And at the end, I'll be here to give you a little bit more information. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. There are so many people, mainly adults, but also increasingly children, who need to get up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet and have a wee. And sometimes that's 2 or 3 times, and sometimes that's once in the middle of the night. And for a person to wake from a deep sleep with the need to go to the toilet, you have mentioned to me, I think in the past, that that is indicative of a bladder issue. And what's behind that? And what can you talk to us about that and educate us on that?
Your body is designed to spend the night detoxing. So what that means is in your rest time of sleep, and some people are more toxic than others and their systems are overworked, so they sleep a lot more than others. But nevertheless, while you're sleeping, your body spends all of its energy trying to detox you. So it brings all of the poisons of the residue of the day before into your bladder. It stores it in your bowels, ready to eliminate in the morning. So it's spending the nighttime cleansing, setting you up for the next day. And that cleansing process is based on a very simple idea that whatever you did the day before, your body is trying to adapt to that kind of activity the next day. It's not only cleansing on a general level, it's also cleansing based on trying to adapt and repair and heal for the next day and make you more capable of doing whatever you did the day before. So nighttime is a cleansing time, an adaptation time, a rebuilding time. Most of the energy, of course, in your body is being used to get rid of those toxins that you've accumulated the day before, store them in your bladder and your bowel. Now, you're supposed to eliminate first thing in the morning when you get up. Your body is designed to get rid of that waste so that it can get on with the rest of the day straight away. Getting up in the nighttime to eliminate means that your storage capacity or the balance of your body between acid and alkaline is inappropriate. It's not working. There's a certain amount of storage that your body can handle. Now, if you have had too much build-up of acid during the day, your body can't handle it during the night, then different things can happen. For example, if you drink too much alcohol, your body will reject it through vomiting or sweating. You don't have the channels to handle it at a normal level. So there's 2 things that might be making you get up in the night and urinating 2 or 3 times a night or even once a night. It's not normal to get up in the middle of the night. That kind of activity is a reflection of the fact that you've had too much of something the night before and your body has no capacity to handle it. Maybe you're weaker than you should be, or there's an overload of those sort of substances, let's say alcohol or fruit juice or sugary drinks or something like this, which then the body needs to process and eliminate. And it doesn't have the capacity to handle that level and it can't store it, but it needs to process it and get it out. And so getting it out in the middle of the night, get rid of it. Okay, now there's 2 kinds of problems seen in children, as an example, 2 kinds of bedwetting. The first kind is where the child is too tense. And being too tense, when they relax in the middle of the night, after a couple of hours, they'll wet the bed. The second kind of bedwetting is where they're too weak and they wet the bed just before they get up in the morning. Yeah. So this is similar to adults where they might be too tense and too weak. And so they go to bed, they're tense, they haven't gotten rid of all their stuff properly, and then a couple of hours later they need to get up, and in the middle of the night they need to get up, and then just before they get up in the morning they need to get up again. So they're not only too tense, but they're too weak at the same time, and that's very common because we can maintain our stress more effectively than children. They don't hang on to the stress as easily. That's another story. But we can develop both those problems as adults. So the bladder leakage is a common symptom with having your acid levels too high in your body. This can come from poor mineral levels or lead to poor mineral levels, either way. You can have a lifestyle that is creating a very acidic condition in your life, and your body needs to get rid of that acid. Your body hates acid. It's spending all of its time trying to get rid of acids in your body so that it maintains its proper pH balance. And you want that out of your body. Your body is processing it at night to get it out so you can start the day slightly alkaline or heading that way. And the high mineral levels are necessary just for your basic functional stability on a daily level. And when that acid is too high, your body has to get it out. Maybe you can't process it because your body is too weak now, and then you end up with this problem where you take in a little bit of something, fruit juice, you drink a little bit too much water, even just normal processing, and during the day you're urinating 4, 5, 6 times a day. Normal is 2 or 3 or 4, but this condition of what they call now light bladder leakage is a clear sign of a long-term bladder weakness. This means that the acid levels are too high, meaning that your mineral levels are going to be compromised. This could lead to a back problem, or a back problem could be the beginnings of this weakness. So it could be the other way around also, where your back is weak, you have high stress levels because the back is weak. That's a normal reaction to having lower back problems. You can't help but feel your whole body is unbalanced and stressed and compromised when your back is unfit for normal use, where it's unbalanced. And high stress levels leads to high acid levels, which leads to poor mineral levels, and the cycle starts. All illnesses are a cycle, as a pattern. So lower back problems generally associated with some light bladder leakage. Light bladder leakage is a first sign of the fact that you have some chronic long-term back problem or the beginnings of a back problem coming. So it all depends how you're looking at it. The lower back being unbalanced is going to create imbalance in the core structure of your body. There's a normal relationship between the lower belly core and the lower back functionality. It's one system for us, going right through from the vagina, the bladder, the anus to the lower back. It's one system that contracts and holds. Without that contractive holding pressure to support your spine, to support your bladder function, to support the pelvic floor, then you're going to end up with an imbalance in the hips, in the back, in the muscles that support your back. You're going to end up with a sway back or the lordosis, some kind of imbalance in the back, unless you have that lovely core holding you together, holding the anus, holding the vagina, holding the back, holding the sacrum all together. It's one contractive power. They're actually seen as the same unit. There's no separation within the Ryoho understanding of that function. So it's cyclic, it's a pattern. One is a sign of a problem leading to another, whether it's bad back leading to bladder problems, which shows as a feeling that you can't get rid of everything. When you go to the toilet, there's a feeling of some urine left over. There's a weakness there. Traditional medicines have all sorts of therapies for this, but it's not dealing with the cause. The cause is get your acid levels right and rebalance your lower back. There's a connection between the two. What's causing one or the other depends on the person. Have you got a bladder problem that is going to lead to a bad back, or have you got a bad back and now the bladder problem is a reflection?
That's really interesting. You just talked about women in that case. Is it the same for men?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's a major problem for men now. Statistics are very clear now that there's no difference. You can see that people who drink too much alcohol, straight away they're going to the toilet all the time. There's always a queue at the bathroom for women, but men much more frequent to go to the toilet when they're drinking alcohol because the body is trying to get rid of that kind of thing. And so people who are leading a lifestyle, the normal sort of male lifestyle of, drinking alcohol on the weekends or maybe even a little bit every night, everyone seems to think that alcohol every night is okay at the moment. I don't know why this idea is out there, but everyone's believing they're living a life of the old black and white movie that we're all living in, a Fred Astaire movie or something. We can have a little party every night rather than eating and sleeping and living a rich, simple, healthy lifestyle where you relax and party on the weekends. It's an interesting concept at the moment. But anyway.
No, that's for another podcast. What I'm getting from you is that it's very cyclical and it's a pattern, but most importantly, it's one system. So yes, one thing, a bad back can lead to bladder issues, but likewise, bladder issues can lead to a bad back, and it comes back to nutrition and structural integrity and so on and so forth.
Nutrition and structural integrity are connected, of course, and modern nutrition knows that. It's just that people need to take that kind of responsibility, and it's not bad luck or genetics that you end up with a problem. Yeah, we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. That's irrelevant. It doesn't mean that you need to put up with it. Some people are lactose intolerant, other people aren't. You just deal with it by not having dairy if you're lactose intolerant, and you don't have the problem. 70% of people from the Mediterranean are lactose intolerant. It all depends on your culture. If you have Asian blood in you, you're definitely lactose intolerant. And you just need to know these things and compensate for them, live the life that supports you and makes you more functional and comfortable and useful. So men with bladder problems is very, very common. There's a recent statistic shows that young men in their 20s now, 50% less fertile than they were 10 years ago. In other words, 10 years ago, men in their 20s were double the amount of fertility. They had double the amount of motility in their sperm. For us, that's the same system. So for women, yes, it's pelvic floor tension. And for men, it's their fertility strength and their sperm motility and their bladder strength. It's the same function for us as men as it is for women, just slightly different results. But that pressure across the pelvic floor is the same for men. They have their own pelvic floor there. And that strength and stability in your core is an essential functional thing that you need to have healthy shoulders and neck, normal, stable structural integrity. We've got to look at human beings as interconnected from top to bottom, and one thing creates a problem everywhere else in the body. A simple analogy is that the lower part of the body, and especially the core belly area, should be seen as the roots of a tree, and that the rest of the body is flowing and flowering out of those roots. You need that structural stability, or else the whole thing tends to fall over.
Yeah, so to wrap up this podcast on bladder, the point being that if you undertake if a person who has bladder issues undertakes a systematic and consistent program to address nutrition and structural integrity, such as what you teach in Ryoho, then those problems are likely to disappear.
Not only will those problems disappear quickly, but a whole lot of other problems, which is what I've been trying to allude to, where your neck, your shoulders, but also emotionally and mentally. When you're unstable structurally, it affects you on your feeling level. Also, you feel stressed easily. There's a whole lot of repercussions. It's not enough to just avoid the weakness in the back. It's not enough to get your hip fixed. You need to deal with these things knowing that they're just a sign of many other issues. And it's well worth dealing with. So they're quickly addressed. That doesn't mean that they're fixed. If you've got a bad back, if you have bladder problems, which is the first sign of fertility in women and men, that you not only need to deal with through changing your lifestyle with the kind of advice that Ryoho provides, which is simple, direct, and very effective. You not only get great results very quickly, but it affects you on many, many levels. But those quick symptom changes are just a sign that now maintain these changes and discover for yourself what variables you can add and what kind of changes you can make in the near future to be more sociable with your friends again. In other words, yes, you need to stop coffee for a while and alcohol for a while, but maybe later on you can have a little bit of a drink or half a cup of coffee in the future. It might be in 6 weeks, it might be in 6 years. It all depends on you, your condition, but it might be something you have created a very big problem, and maybe you'll never be able to have coffee again. Now you're a tea drinker, which I think is irrelevant when it comes to health and life and the qualities that being healthy and having a good life comes back and that you're blessed with. Once you have a bad problem, people understand that it really doesn't matter whether you're having a little treat on a daily basis or not. Chronic pain, people will do anything to get rid of, and you can live a simple, healthy lifestyle and get rid of these massive problems really easily and effectively.
Thanks, Andre. Very enlightening for people with bladder problems who really want to fix them, or have someone in their family who has a bladder problem, such as a small child who's bedwetting at a stage when they're well past the nappy age. Any listeners who would like to learn more about Andre's work or Ryoho can connect and follow on Instagram and LinkedIn using the address of Ryoho Wellness. We spell Ryoho Ryoho and then add wellness on the end, obviously. Episode notes will be loaded up and available at ryohowellness.com, which is the master website. And just a few more things before you take off. Number 1, do you have a health issue or question you would like explored in one of our podcasts? Please submit it to us at the website where there is a contact page, ryohowellness.com website. Number 2, would you enjoy being notified by very short email every time we do something on Ryoho Wellness? This includes notification of our up-and-coming wellness podcasts and other things towards our tipping point. If you want to receive that, go to ryohowellness.com and drop in your email address and you'll get the very next one. And we hope you really enjoy it. Thanks everyone for listening, and thank you, Andre, for another fantastic episode. See you next time.